The Kingdom of Croatia was an administrative division that existed between 1527 and 1868 within the Habsburg Monarchy. The kingdom was a part of the lands of the Crown of St. Stephen, but was subject to direct Imperial Austrian rule for significant periods of time, including its final years. Its capital was Zagreb. Until the 18th century, the Habsburg Kingdom of Croatia included only a small northwestern part of present-day Croatia around Zagreb, and a small strip of coastland around Rijeka that was not part of the Ottoman Empire, a part of the Habsburg military frontier. Between 1744 and 1868, the Kingdom of Croatia included a subordinate autonomous kingdom, the Kingdom of Slavonia. The territory of the Slavonian Kingdom was recovered from the Ottoman Empire, and was subsequently part of the Habsburg military frontier for a period. In 1744 these territories were organized as a Kingdom of Slavonia and included within the Kingdom of Croatia as an autonomous part. In 1849, the two kingdoms were completely separated and existed as two separate administrative units. In 1868 both were merged again into the newly formed Kingdom of Croatia-Slavonia. History. Habsburg rule. Following the Battle of Mohacs in 1527, the Croatian and Hungarian nobles needed to decide on a new king. The bulk of the Croatian nobility convened the Croatian parliament in Cetin and chose the suzerainty to the Austrian King Ferdinand I of Habsburg. Some of the nobles dissented and supported John Zapoljar, but the Habsburg option prevailed by 1540, when John Zapoljar died. Territory retaken from the Ottoman Empire was formed in 1745 as the Kingdom of Slavonia, subordinate to the Croatian Kingdom. In 1804 the Habsburg Monarchy became the Austrian Empire, which annexed the Venetian Republic in 1814 and established the Kingdom of Dalmatia. After the Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867 and the Croatian-Hungarian Nagodba of 1868, the Kingdom of Croatia and Kingdom of Slavonia were joined into the Kingdom of Croatia-Slavonia within the lands of the Crown of St. Stephen in the Hungarian part of the empire, while the Kingdom of Dalmatia became a Kronland in the Austrian part of the empire. The new kingdom claimed the Kingdom of Dalmatia as the remaining Croatian land in the empire, and often referred to itself as the Triune Kingdom of Croatia, Slavonia, and Dalmatia. Ottoman incursion. The change of leadership was far from a solution to the war with the Ottomans. In fact, the Ottoman Empire gradually expanded in the 16th century to include most of Slavonia, western Bosnia and Lika. Croatian territory under Habsburg rule was 25 years later reduced to about 20,000 square kilometers. In 1558, the parliaments of Croatia and Slavonia were united after many centuries into one. The center of the Croatian state moved northward from coastal Dalmatia as these lands were conquered by the Ottomans. The town of Zagreb gained importance, as did nearby Varaždin. Taking advantage of the growing conflict between Maximilian and Sigismund, Suleiman started his sixth raid of Hungary in 1565 with 100,000 troops. They successfully progressed northwards until 1566, when they took a small detour to capture the outpost of Sighet, which they failed to capture 10 years previously. The small fort was defended by Count Nicholas Ubik-Zarinsky and 2,300–3,000 men. They were able to hold the ground for a month, and decimated the Ottoman army before being wiped out themselves. This siege, now known as the Battle of Sighet, bought enough time to allow Austrian troops to regroup before the Ottomans could reach Vienna. By orders of the king in 1553 and 1566, 1578. Large areas of Croatia and Slavonia adjacent to the Ottoman Empire were carved out into the military frontier and ruled directly from Vienna's military headquarters. Due to the dangerous proximity to the Ottoman armies, the area became rather deserted, so Austria encouraged the settlement of Serbs, Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Slovaks and Russians, Ukrainians and other Slavs in the military frontier, creating an ethnic patchwork. The negative effects of feudalism escalated in 1573 when the peasants in northern Croatia and Slovenia rebelled against the feudal lords over various injustices such as unreasonable taxation or abusive women in the Croatian and Slovenian peasant revolt. Ambrosz Matija and other leaders of the mutiny raised peasants to arms in over 60 fiefs throughout the country in January 1573, but their uprising was crushed by early February. Matija and thousands of others were publicly executed shortly thereafter in a rather brutal manner in order to set an example for others. After the Bithak fort finally fell to the army of the Bosnian vizier Hasan Pasha Predović in 1592, only small parts of Croatia remained unconquered. The remaining 16,800 square kilometers, where around 400,000 inhabitants lived, were referred to as the remnants of the once great and renowned Kingdom of Croatia. 17th and 18th centuries. By the 18th century, the Ottoman Empire was driven out of Ottoman Hungary and Croatia, and Austria brought the empire under central control. The Austrian Imperial Army was victorious against the Turks in 1664, but Emperor Leopold failed to capitalize on the success when he signed the Peace of Varsovie, in which Hungary and Croatia were prevented from regaining territory lost to the Ottoman Empire. This caused unrest among the Hungarian and Croatian nobility, which plotted against the emperor in what became known as the Zrinski-Frankopan conspiracy in Croatia, but they weren't powerful enough to actually do something about it, even though they negotiated with both the French and the Ottomans. Imperial spies uncovered the conspiracy and on April 30, 1671 executed 4 esteemed Croatian and Hungarian noblemen involved in it: Peter Zrinski, Franco Frankopan, Ferenc Nadasdy III and Erasmo Tattenbach, in Wiener Neustadt. Croatia was one of the crown lands that supported Emperor Charles's pragmatic sanction of 1713 and supported Empress Maria Theresa in the War of the Austrian Succession of 1741–48, and the Croatian Parliament in 1712 signed their own pragmatic sanction of 1712. Subsequently, the Empress made significant contributions to Croatian matters by making several changes in the administrative control of the military frontier, the feudal and tax system. She also gave the independent port of Rijeka to Croatia in 1776. However, she also ignored and eventually disbanded the Croatian parliament, and in 1779, Croatia was relegated to just one seat in the governing council of Hungary, held by the Ban of Croatia. With the fall of the Venetian Republic in 1797, its possessions in eastern Adriatic mostly came under the authority of France, which passed its rights to Austria the same year. 8 years later they were restored to France as the Illyrian provinces, but won back to the Austrian crown by 1815. Though now part of the same empire, Dalmatia and Istria were part of Cisleithania, while Croatia and Slavonia were Transleithania. 19th century. In the 19th century, Croatian romantic nationalism emerged to counteract the non-violent but apparent Germanization and Magyarization. The Croatian national revival began in the 1830s with the Illyrian movement. The movement attracted a number of influential figures and produced some important advances in the Croatian language and culture. The champion of the Illyrian movement was Ludovic Gaj, who also reformed and standardized the Croatian literary language. Official language in Croatia has been Latin until 1847, when it has become Croatian. By the 1840s, the movement had moved from cultural goals to resisting Hungarian political demands. By the Royal Order of January 11, 1843, originating from the Chancellor Metternich, the use of the Illyrian name and insignia in public was forbidden. This deterred the movement's progress, but it couldn't stop the changes in the society that had already started. In the revolutions of 1848 in the Austrian Empire, the Croatian Banulacic cooperated with the Austrians in quenching the Hungarian Revolution of 1848 by leading a military campaign into Hungary, successful until the Battle of Parkhurst. Despite this contribution, Croatia was later subject to Baron Alexander von Bach's absolutism as well as the Hungarian hegemony under Ban Levin Rauch, when the empire was transformed into a dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary in 1867. Nevertheless, Banulacic had succeeded in the abolition of serfdom in Croatia, which eventually brought about massive changes in society. The power of the major landowners was reduced and arable land became increasingly subdivided to the extent of risking famine. Many Croatians started emigrating to the New World countries in this period, a trend that would continue throughout the next 100 years and create a large Croatian diaspora. The Illyrian movement was rather broad in scope, both nationalist and pan-slavist. It would eventually develop into two major causes: a Croatian national cause aimed primarily at the unification and independence of the people of Croatia, headed by people like the parliamentarian Ante Starčević, who formed the Party of Rights in 1861, a pan-South Slavic, Yugoslav cause also oriented towards the integration of the neighboring South Slavic nations, organized through the People's Party, and headed by people like Bishop Josip Jurić Strossmayer, who founded the Yugoslav Academy of Sciences and Arts in 1867 and refounded the University of Zagreb in 1874. The loss of Croatian domestic autonomy was rectified a year after the Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867, when in 1868 the Croatian-Hungarian settlement was negotiated. However, the governor was appointed by Hungary. 55% of all tax money went to Budapest, and Hungary had authority over the biggest seaport of Rijeka. With this agreement, the Kingdom of Croatia received autonomy in administrative, educational, and judicial affairs. Demographics. According to the 1802 data, the population of the Kingdom of Croatia included 400,000 Roman Catholics, 4,800 Eastern Orthodox Christians and 40 Protestants. In 1840, a Hungarian statistician Fenyő Selek analyzed the ethnicity in the countries belonging to the Hungarian crown. According to the data he collected and processed, 526.550 people lived in the Kingdom of Croatia, out of which 519.426 were Croats, 3.00 Germans, 2.90 Serbs and 1.037 Jews. Population data by counties: Primorje County 40.390 Croats, 2.00 Germans, 200 Hungarians, 105 Jews, 67 Greeks. Varaždin County 130.678 Croats, 153 Serbs, 474 Jews. Zagreb County 279.991 Croats, 1.00 Germans, 978 Serbs, 313 Jews. Krizevci County 68.367 Croats, 1.769 Serbs, 145 Jews. The first modern population census was conducted in 1857 and it recorded religion of the citizens, population by religion in the counties of Kingdom of Croatia, 592.702 Roman Catholics, 6.048 Eastern Orthodox, 2.511 Jews, 394 Lutherans, 24 Calvinists, 14 Unitarians, 4 Armenian Orthodox, 2 Armenian Catholic Church. Insignia. In 1848 the Kingdom of Croatia adopted a new official flag and coat of arms. The new flag was the Croatian tricolour of red, white, and blue, and it was to remain the symbol of Croatia up to the present day. The coat of arms adopted in 1848 was an amalgam of 3 coats of arms, one for Croatia, another for the Kingdom of Dalmatia, and another for the Kingdom of Slavonia. The kingdom also used the name Triune Kingdom of Croatia, Slavonia, and Dalmatia during certain periods. The kingdom still controlled the Kingdom of Slavonia, but did not control the Kingdom of Dalmatia. In 1849 the Kingdom of Slavonia was made independent of the Kingdom of Croatia, and in 1852 the Imperial Austrian government, which never recognized the tricolour as official, banned its use, along with the coat of arms. Between 1852 and 1868 the Kingdom of Croatia used the red and white flag, and its old Cheki coat of arms.